wist te winnen. Hij speelt zijn tweede Eurotour hier in Zwolle. Geef hem een hartelijk applaus. Big Age, Harry Ward! En dan zijn tegenstander, een landgenoot van ons die inmiddels al op plek 40 op de wereldranglijst is beland. Vorig jaar won hij zijn eerste Players Championship en in 2017 kroonde hij zichzelf tot Finder Darts Master. Geef me een hartelijk applaus uit Joure, Noppie, Danny Noppert!
I'm running with this plan. Pull me, grab us in the bucket, can't have me. I'll be the president one day. January 1st, oh you like that gossip? Like you the one drinking what gossip.com. Now I got a word for your tongue. How many Rolling Stones you want? Yeah, I got a brand new spirit speaking and it's done. Woke up on the side of the bed like I won. Talk like the wind in my chest to that sun. G5 in the US to Taiwan. Now who can say that? I wanna play back. Mama knew I was a needle in a haystack. I'm a Valley boy, plus way back. I got a feeling it's a rap.
Of the afternoon session here, day one of the Dutch Darts Masters in Zwolle, and one of the most eagerly anticipated ties of the first round. Certainly one that Paul and I touched upon when we previewed today's play at the start of the day. And this has all the ingredients of what could be an absolute cracker. Harry Ward, never mind a little respect. He's a player who commands a lot of respect right now, given his first PDC title at Players Championship 16 in Barnsley last Sunday, in which he beat Max Hopp 8-7 in an absolutely thrilling final. And he's up against Danny Noppert, a man who is, well, very much a seasoned professional when it comes to these European Tour events. He's made the semi-finals of European Tour events as recently as last year. That was at the European Darts Grand Prix. A semi-finalist as well in Riesa, and on home soil, perhaps hoping to do more damage and go deep once again. All perfectly set up, Paul Nicholson, for the final match of what has been a really good afternoon session so far.
Yeah, it's been really good. There's been some quality, there's been some antics, you could say, in some of the matches, and there's been some subpar performances from certain people, but I think this one will definitely take top billing. It is just a brilliant game right now, and I'm really excited to watch Big H play, and I'm excited to watch Danny. I'm a big fan of his game. It'll be interesting to see what he's got to offer this afternoon.
Yeah, he's done well this year.
First leg, Danny to throw first. Game on.
Two semi-finals and a final on the Pro Tour this year for Danny Noppert. The signs are that 2019 could be just as successful for him as 2018 was, but it's Harry Ward who has the first PDC title under his belt, 21 years old, and really just continuing this remarkable rise to prominence. A first
60.
title within 4 months of joining the professional circuit on a full-time basis. He was ranked 88th on the PDC's Order of Merit at the start of play on the day that he won the final. But he is certainly a player on the rise. He beat Vincent
60.
Kamphaus, Madas Rasma, James Richardson and Michael Smith. And then he beat Nathan Aspinall, Jose de Sousa in the semi-finals, and then 59. In the final itself, a cracker against Max Hopp. Really like the look of this kid. And it's his second European Tour appearance. Made his first appearance as a 19-year-old 3 years ago. So it's been a long time in the making for him.
Yeah, things have started to flourish, you could say, in the last few months for Harry. And everybody who knows this young man really enjoys his company. He's such a lovely lad. But he's a bit of a demon on the dartboard, is Big H. And I like a nickname that doesn't start with the. Big H is good, because he's our Big H. And I reckon the future's bright for that young man who is flying the flag for Derbyshire Darts in a very similar way that John Lowe used to do, because he's from Chesterfield.
Yeah, and that neck of the woods, yeah.
Same sort of region as Big H.
100. 82, Danny O'Quire, 40.
Well, pressure from Harry Ward with that 180 to get down to
Yeah,
81, but Danny Noppert just
Noppert.
withstands that pressure.
Second leg,
And that was a
Harry to
high-quality
throw
first leg to start things
Game
off.
on.
The crowd enjoying that one there. Home Hope off to a flyer with the first leg.
140.
Cluster of Dutch players involved today and this weekend.
I wonder what is going to be delivered from Mr. Van Barneveld later when he plays against Paul Shikeli. That should maybe be given top billing later on, but I've got a couple of stories about
60.
Harry Ward that I'd love to tell. And the first one involves myself. When I went back to Q School 2.5 years ago, on the Thursday, I went in there without a reputation. I left it at the door.
180.
And I was trying to get myself back on the tour straight away. My first game on the Thursday afternoon was against Harry Ward. And I thought, this can't be happening. This surely can give me a better draw than that.
100.
I beat Harry in a great game. And he was devastated to lose the match. But I knew big things were going to come for him. And the next game, I played Nathan Aspinall and lost.
90.
That goes to show how Q School, what it's given the tour in the last season, because now Aspinall is a massive hitter.
Yeah.
But the other story I think is even better, because his former sponsor, who has a very familiar name in Dawson, I'm not going to name his name, but he had the audacity to say that this man here, who's on tops, and hits tops for a 91 out and a lovely 12 darter, that sponsor had the audacity to say, when he ditched Big H, that he wasn't good enough. Well, I think that sponsor is eating a lot of words this week.
Yes, and maybe one or two slices of humble pie as well.
Humble with a capital H.
Big H.
I think we're seeing why he's a tour winner, because there is very little wrong with that throw.
Well, he's certainly a player who, you know, we mentioned it before, he provides a lot of evidence, or more evidence, I suppose, of the success of the tiered system that's in play on the PDC circuit. He's featured on both the Challenge Tour and the Development Tour, and he just seems to be making this natural progression, albeit very swiftly as well, I have to say.
85.
Such a fan of the throw, though. And certain actions, when you look at the right side of the screen, they just look destined to be great, and you'll be seeing a lot of it. I think Harry's is one of those. It doesn't break down. There's a lot of aggression in the follow-through, but there's a lot of poise in the aiming points as well, and the way that the dart enters the board with real authority. I really like that.
100. Danny O'Quire, 170.
Danny Noppert, though, a man who brings plenty of European Tour experience to the party this weekend. Looking at the 170, but he will return with Ward on 216.
96.
Has only played in just the one Euro Tour event this year, though. That was a very short-lived thing as well. He was seeded at the German Darts Grand Prix, but he lost to Stephen Bunting 6-1. He has found the qualification programme that little bit more trickier to navigate this time around.
74.
But as I said, 2 semi-final appearances last year, and those helped him graduate into the big T events, the World Grand Prix, for example.
He's going to be at the match play this year, so it'll be really interesting to see how he does at Blackpool. But 13 and Bull. Bullseye, got to go for it. You can't leave H on a 156.
Yeah, we have seen the 156 taken out today. Florian Hempel did it in that 6-0 win against Ryan Harrington. So he can't take any chances, but he will return anyway because Ward will not take it out.
56. Danny O'Quire, 25.
Sensibly squares it up at a ton if he can't get a treble. It's the right thing to do. But double 8 for Danny. It's got a nice ring to it. If he gets it.
17.
He doesn't.
Danny O'Quire, 100.
So missed darts at double 8 for Noppert. Tops.
That's the stereotypical face of a man who just goes under tops on a top shot. The purse of the lips. Might purse them again if Danny gets double 2, which he does, and he takes a 2-1 lead.
Full flag Harry to throw first.
And you brought up a really good point, Rob, about Danny struggling in qualification, because getting through to this one is a perfect example of why it's so difficult. He had to beat Kim Huybrecht 6-5, and then he came through Darius Labanauskas, who himself has been in a Pro Tour final very recently.
Well, that was on the same weekend, the qualification for this and the Labanauskas' run to the final. I think that was the same weekend.
Following day, I think it was.
Following day, yeah.
So it just goes to show how difficult it is just to get here.
100.
And someone who's been playing as well as Big H has this year. And let's face facts. Last week was not a fluke because he has been going deep, has had runs to quarterfinals before that. So there were signs.
60.
And the fact that this is his first European Tour event of the year is a surprise. I had breakfast with Harry this morning and I was chatting to him about a few things, and I thought it was adorable that during his breakfast his dad was calling to make sure he was okay.
Checking he was up.
Oh, I think after the journey he had yesterday, I think getting to sleep last night wasn't a problem.
It wasn't a problem. He went pretty much.
100.
We travelled over with him, and he pretty much went straight to his room, and that must have been about 8 o'clock or so. He had a long day, and he's clearly getting himself in the right frame of mind for what is a really big deal for him. Like I say, first European Tour appearance in 3 years. He doesn't want to take any chances. He knew he had a tough opponent to come. I think irrespective of who he was playing, he would have looked after himself last night anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
100.
I would like to say this though, while I can. If we have a pairs competition in darts, I would love to see John Henderson play with Harry Ward and call them themselves the Big H's.
100. Danny require 160.
That'd be a pretty formidable team.
It would be. Imagine the walk-on.
60 needed for double 18. Excellent dart. That is a brilliant checkout from Danny Noppert.
Danny Noppert.
So clean, so clinical, and that's what he has built his reputation on in the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's exactly what Danny Noppert can do, and it's why he's such a dangerous opponent. 116 checkout for the break of throw. He just seems to have that steely focus in his eye when he gets into those positions and those opportunities arise.
Yeah, you're not going to get any shenanigans in this game. You're going to get straight up big hitting darts.
140.
He was a candidate actually last year for the PDC's Newcomer of the Year. He only made the switch following the 2018 BDO World Championship. He lost to Mark McGeaney fairly early on in that campaign,
58.
by the way. Went to European Q School in January 2018. Won his 2-year tour card straight away. 2 semi-finals on the Euro Tour. Qualified for the World Grand Prix. Got to the Players' Championship finals. Made it into the European Championship. I mean, as far as debut seasons go, he couldn't really have done a lot more than that.
Yeah. People are having very good debut seasons at the moment, though.
Well, yeah.
Look at Rob Cross and his debut season.
I was going to say, barring Rob Cross, but that's the benchmark now.
Yeah, look at Glenn. 2 titles this year. He's just got through into the next phase. And Danny will be looking at the bull here. And Harry Ward has hit him hard with scoring in this leg. But this will be a heartbreaker. That's a guide and a half. Oh boy! This would break his heart in half. What a shot from Danny Noppert! Oh, Harry's going to be hurting.
Flag Harry to throw first.
Well, a nice touch from Harry Ward, who acknowledges that. It's a shame there weren't more in the crowd to see it, because that's one of the standout moments of the European Tour, certainly today and certainly of the season as a whole.
60.
And Harry Ward is just beginning to look a little bit rattled by that, and by the way that Danny Noppert has really taken control of this match. What a outshot that was.
They do hurt, but boy, do you have to give respect to your opponent when that happens. That was a majestic piece of darting from Danny Noppert. And he has had problems with the wobbly darts in the board because of those long points in the past, but they were so solid. As were they.
Well, I'm amazed he stayed there, because that second dart was precarious and he stayed well out of the way of it.
If in doubt, just hit the other side of the bed. That's the way the young generation play these days, and that 60 has been absolutely murdered in the last couple of visits.
Fearless darts, actually.
177.
Because any sort of deflection, it could have been curtains, but Harry Ward sticking to his guns.
Can we make this one best of 19?
59.
This has been a great game so far.
It's been a really good match, this, yeah. And well, we said it was going to be one of the standout matches of the day, let alone the afternoon session. And it's more than living up to expectations so far. These 2 players, by the way, 2 players who have produced 9 dart legs this year.
100.
9 darters every week at the minute.
Yeah, there's been a an abundance of them. Danny Noppert did his in Players Championship 5. Harry Ward has also come up with a 9-darter as well.
140, Danny, you require 126.
Well, surely 126 is so much easier than 132. Because all you need is one of those. You don't need that. That was a deflected dart. It doesn't give him a shot at either double six or the bull. So Harry, you feel, has got to take the 62 out. And he needs the exact same bed that Danny's just hit. 62. The only way to get it, is 188.
46.
Yeah,
Danny,
straight into the treble 15.
36.
Just derailed him ever so slightly, but still had the chance. But Noppert now looking for another break of throw. This would be a fourth leg without reply. And it would be a double break. And it would leave Ward needing snookers, you feel. 5-1. And I think that's a little bit harsh on Harry Ward.
Very much so.
But Danny Noppert has taken his opportunities when they've come along. And that ultimately is the bottom line. He is scoring well as well, it has to be said. Both players scoring very well. Both players averaging over a ton. But it's the finishing of Danny Noppert that's proving the difference so far.
The interesting thing for me on that last dart of Danny Noppert in that sixth leg is that the guide was so good on double 18 that he didn't even reset himself on dart 2 fully. He just knew that when he threw it, it was going to go in. That's how much faith he's got in certain darts that he throws. And by no means has Harry Ward played poorly. It's just Noppert has been on full tilt here. And the winner of this one, which is really intriguing for me, Rob, is that if Noppert gets through this one, which is more likely than Harry because he's 5-1 up, he'd play Watamina. So it'd be double Dutch. Who would the crowd be cheering for?
Well, it's a no-lose situation for the crowd, I suppose, in that respect. But
91.
Well, maybe the fact that Noppert is the unseeded player, maybe there'd be an element of support, greater support for the supposed underdog, although on this evidence I wouldn't have Danny Noppert down as the outsider necessarily.
And you require 170.
Because so far he's produced some really good darts. 13 dart for the opener, 15 darter, 12 darter, 14 darter, and maybe a 12 darter here with the 170. No.
Only just shy in that second 60. You've got to give credit to Harry Ward for being able to leave this 129. 72 left. Only just shy on the double 18 double.
93. Danny, you require
and through no fault of his own, Harry Ward is about to lose this one 6-1.
Yeah, and having missed that double 18, it's now Harry Ward who's waiting for Danny Noppert to hopefully miss it, but he doesn't. And Danny Noppert earns a round of applause from this home crowd with a very healthy average of 104.5, and the finishing really catching the eye as well. And a very stylish way to round off this afternoon session. Terrific performance by Danny Noppert.
We gaan weer afscheid nemen van een groot talent, maar we gaan hem nog zeker vaker zien. Geef hartelijk applaus, Harry Ward! Dat was een lekker wedstrijdje, denk ik, of niet?
Ja, ik zat er lekker in. Trippels vielen goed, dubbels vielen goed. Dus ja, al met al ben ik tevreden over deze partij.
We hebben in 2019 nog niet zo heel veel gezien op tv natuurlijk, dat is logisch, want er zijn nog niet zo heel veel televisietoernooien geweest. Hoe gaat het in 2019 met Danny Noppert?
Nou, ik doe goed mee. Ik draai goed mee met de Tour, Pro Tour en alles. Ik ben inmiddels top 40 spelen, dus daar ben ik heel trots op. En ik kijk alleen maar meer omhoog.
Iets dichter in de toekomst ligt morgen. Morgen speel je in de tweede ronde tegen een landgenoot, tegen Jermaine Watimena. Heb je vaak tegen hem gespeeld?
1 keer eerder, denk ik. En die heb ik gewonnen, dus laat het morgen ook zo zijn.
We gaan het morgen zien. Dames en heren, we zien hem morgen terug. Danny Noppert!